like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So, Doctor Who fans, they do talk about the death of Doctor Who a surprising amount, right? We really, you might go, when? What? Oh, well, firstly, there's a cliffhanger every other episode where Doctor Who's gonna die. If he's not gonna die, then it's the companion gonna die. But it's always been a very emotive topic for to get fans' juices flowing. Look, they knew that way back in. What story was it? The Chase. The Chase would be in 1965. Chase was the third story, right? So that'll be 65, I think, right? Well, you had the episode, The Death of Doctor Who, right? Which is probably what I'm going to call this video, The Death of Doctor Who. Look, the reality of the death of Doctor Who is politics and circumstances. Much more what killed Doctor Who in the late... politics and circumstance. I think a bunch of things... was it Michael Grade felt the show was a bit of embarrassing tack? And in his defense, it was a bit of embarrassing tack. Speaking of somebody who has bought every episode of Doctor Who multiple times, right? I bought some of them on LP, back when we had records, vinyl. I bought a bunch with cassette tapes. I bought it on VHS. I bought it on DVD. I bought it on Blu-ray. Like every episode, right? So I think I can say I know it reasonably well, and it was a bit of embarrassing tack. I mean, I can really, really understand where he's coming from. I just wish he could have seen what they did with season 25. If he could have seen the first episode of Remembrance of the Daleks, he'll be like, this is great! This is because Michael Grade has a real eye for what's good. When he came into his job, he found Hello, the pilot of it sitting on the shelf. They're like, well, this is too controversial, right? This is we can't put this out. Yeah, and I was just looking for a clip from Ben Aronovich, who wrote Remembrance of the Daleks. Who was it? Somebody commented recently that's their favourite Dalek story, with episode 1 being the best, their favourite cliffhanger of the Dalek story issue. I completely agree with that, right? I completely and totally agree with that. I always like Ben Aronovich's work. I always felt I felt terrible that he was working in, a bookshop in Waterstones for most of his career, like most of his adult life. He had a bit of success at the beginning. Then by the 2000s, he was working in Waterstones, I think, and now he's doing okay again with the Rivers of London's series that he's writing. I'm surprised he was never brought back to write for the revived Doctor Who, but anyway. So I was looking for it, and I thought it was on more than 30 years in the TARDIS. When it was sort of like, killing Doctor Who, you have to do something pretty horrible to him too, so he doesn't regenerate. Well, we they covered this now. One of the drawbacks of having so much spin-off media, which we do, is that a lot of these questions have really been very, very, very covered. There was what was the first time they worked out really how to kill the Doctor? I think it was in one of the Doctor Who Unbounds, which was getting people who never played the Doctor to play the Doctor, doctory people to play the Doctor. But they didn't just want to do that; they wanted to make something like different about the production. So, what was it? David Collins was in I think the third or fourth one. And it was a Doctor, I think, without the moral compass, right? He seemed to have it, but it was without the moral compass. So in the end of that, spoiler warning if you haven't. By the way, the whole Unbound range is very, very good from Big Finish. His companion finds out what a piece of crap he is, and shoots him in the head, then just waits there for him to regenerate 12 times and shoots him in the head every time, right? So there is that. But yeah, you have to do something pretty horrible to get rid of him. So I saw this article today by Stephen Moffat on his idea to how to kill off the Doctor. Now, Stephen Moffat's somebody I think has a really good sense of what Doctor Who is and what the Doctor would do. I more so in his documentary appearances, right, than in his actual writing. But I think he's got a really, really, really clear sense of that. And a really clear sense of character. That's why I think you know what Rusty Davies should do if he wants to get a great streaming service, which is what I think he does. I think he wants to have a Doctor Who streaming portal going somewhere. They're talking to buying it, Disney Plus or even. Listen, Apple, mate. Time to get into the game. Apple streaming service. The technology of it works fine, but they're very much into being like, oh, the more intellectual streaming service. You're not. They should buy bloody Paramount and have a Star Trek hub, and also buy this to have a Doctor Who hub. But on the Doctor Who hub, don't just have all the stories, have all the DVD extras as well, right? Because I remember it clearly, him talking about how to get off Doctor Who. I was going to put this clip in it. I spent like 20 minutes going through different things, bits from the Survival Blu-ray or DVD, and trying to find stuff that. Couldn't find the clip anywhere. I thought it was in more 30 Years on TARDIS or more than 30 Years on TARDIS. I thought, but I couldn't find it. So there you go. Any budding researcher out there who can find it, please let me know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm intrigued to know how Stephen Moffat would have killed off Doctor Who. I'm not intrigued to know how Chris Chibnall would have done it, because we pretty much saw that, right? But did John Nathan Turner kill off Doctor Who? No, I think that was just, again, politics and circumstance. One, it looked like tat, and Michael Gray didn't like things that looked like tat. And two, that everybody at the BBC absolutely hated science fiction in general, right? Look, essentially, this was all a very Oxbridge BBC. I think it probably still is. A very Oxbridge, very... from Oxford or Cambridge, that means Oxbridge, leadership, and because they didn't really care about commercialism at all, which I think they do now. The thing they feared most was embarrassment in front of their peers. Right, Michael Gray didn't. Right, Michael Gray's like, that's garbage, get rid of it. But so that was the culture of the BBC, and it was an embarrassing show. Right, that's why Doctor Who died. It died from its performance in the mid-80s, and nobody bothered to check on it in the late 80s. Right, if they checked it in the late 80s, they went, oh, this was pretty darn good, right? Pretty darn good indeed. By the way, last night, this is a complete aside. Last night I watched Voyage of the Damned. I'm doing a Wilf episode recap. We're going through all the Bernard Cribbs episodes. Holy crap, that was good. Oh my god, I mean, it wasn't good as a Doctor Who episode, right? But it was good as a Doctor Who episode for the normies to watch on Christmas. Because it just ticked all the boxes, insanely entertaining. Like, just insanely entertaining. Very silly, very patriotic. Oh, man, Rusty Davies loves the Queen, right? And he loves Britishness. Now, I don't know if that's still going to be in his new version of it. I do hope it, because there was a little great scenes in it where the Queen's like trying to evacuate. It's just fun, right? It's just super fun and poignant and exciting. Why did it get huge ratings? Not because of David Tennant, not because of Carney Shomron. None of those things hurt. Because it was freaking awesome, right? It was just insanely entertaining. Anyway, so that's the rebirth of Doctor Who. Which we're all quite intrigued. So what on earth they're going on? But let's talk about the death of Doctor Who before we get into it. Bloody hell, 10 minutes in. I really thought that was 30 seconds. Like, share, subscribe, comment, please. This is very, very belated. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you very much. Definitely subscribe. I'm like nearly there. I'm nearly at 3,500. I think it's 3,500. 3,500 subscribers. About what? Right now I'm fluctuating around the 90s, the 3490s. I think if I can pop through that, I get to a new level in the algorithm. So please like, share, subscribe. If you're subscribed, make sure you still subscribe. Comment, let me know what you think. The algorithm, I think, likes sharing right now, but I really don't know. I don't. Subscribe, okay? That's basically the bottom line. Subscribe. Ring the little bell. Press that little bell button so you're notified when my scintillating content will be delivered to you. Although you can't trust that, so sign up my Substack as well, which is my email newsletter. I send out stuff every day on it, just to let you know what content out. Last night, I do this every week. I send out an out of print bit of Doctor Who wonderfulness on it, right? So I've been doing like I'm going to do the original Alan Moore backup strips that haven't been reprinted yet. That I have to scan them. I got the original copies. I have to scan them. Hopefully I might do it today. I don't know. But I sent out yesterday, because I wasn't able to on Friday because I was away, Interference Book 1, which was by Lawrence Miles, which was really one of the high spots of the Eighth Doctor range when BBC Books took over and were not as good as Virgin, right? But they took over by Lawrence Miles. So I'm going to be doing Interference Part 1 and Interference Part 2. It's weird. It's really weird. It's the Eighth Doctor and the Third Doctor. It's tying up a lot of like plot ideas from it, but it's a really, really weird couple of books that I do recommend. So it's free, okay? Look, you can find it by Googling, but I give them to you. It's free, so go sign up for that. Sign up if I paid one as well. It's a way of sending me a few digital copies, which I am redonkulously grateful for, right? Absolutely redonkulously grateful for that. Fine. With that, let's get into this article over on where is it? Slashfilm? Yeah, Slashfilm has a good article every now and again. Stephen Moffat has an idea for how Doctor Who will finally end. Well, this is his version of how it... Again, how will it finally end? It's through happenstance and politics. That's essentially, again, the only... Why isn't it over now, right? It performed worse than in the Sylvester McCoy years, and also the... I think more embarrassing. Yeah, I think it would have been embarrassing for the hoo-ha Henrys that run the BBC, right? The champagne socialists that run the BBC. If it wasn't full of identity politics. I do love like the fancy footwork they do today. Well, what do you mean by woke? Well, woke has no definition. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. In this context, it's the uncomfortable platforming of ideology in an already existent successful franchise. That ideology is almost always intermixed between something that everybody agrees with. Black people are people too, for example, and things that few people agree with. That 12-year-old should have hysterectomies. So mix those two together, and that is what woke is. But honestly. The definition of woke does change. What does woke really mean? It means progressive, liberal progressive. And the definition of that changes, right? 10 years ago, the definition was that marriage shouldn't be between a man and a woman. Marriage should be between two loving adults, okay? Now it means, as I said, if you're a 14-year-old that wants to chemically castrate yourself, all good, baby. The definition changes, okay? The definition does indeed change. But that's why Doctor Who was never cancelled. It hasn't been cancelled now. It was nearly. If Frosty Dave didn't step up. I don't know. They would have gone off the air for a few years. Nobody was going to take it. It was such a tainted brand. And you needed a Russell T Davies or you needed a Stephen Moffat to repair the insane amount of damage. Will they repair it? Listen, we're getting a lot of mixed signals. I believe yes they will, but I don't know. I really don't. On the strength of watching Voyage of the Damned last night, which is what I think we're going to be getting, I think it's going to be hugely entertaining, right? Hugely entertaining. If you think of Voyage of the Damned is Doctor Who, then I think you'll probably think what the new Doctor Who, the Ncuti Gatwa, and what's the name of the girl who's the companion? I like it's a girl companion. Rose something or other. What's with Rusty Davies needing a companion called Rose in some way or another? So now he's getting his companion to be an actress called Rose. Anyway, I digress. Since its original run in 1963 and its revival's okay, yeah, not reboot, in 2005, Doctor Who has been airing for 60 years. It's not just been airing for 6 years. Even in the wilderness years, it was a going concern, right? The novels kept us going, and they could sell them, right? What else do you know that has a successful novel publishing franchise, right? Not many things, right? And then Big Finish came along, and again, very, very financially viable. So I say Doctor Who never really... I mean, that's why I think it came back in 2005. because it never really went away. Most fandoms, like, you don't get much Buck Rogers fandom nowadays, right? Some franchises, like, having said that, I would love to see a modern take on Buck Rogers. Like, modern take on Buck Rogers. They should make the future look like they did in the 1930s. So you've got these very ornate spaceships with all this very futurist design. Anyway, that's that's an idea for another ramble. So it's been only 60 years. It's the longest running sci-fi show in history. That's great. Do you remember in the 90s when Stargate said, "Oh no, we're the longest running sci-fi show"? And we're like, "You've been on the air for 15 years." And but we've been constantly in production while Doctor Who has. We were. That was just weird, right? One of the things you miss from the Wilderness years. And we're approaching the 60th anniversary special by the day. From William Hartnell to Jodie Whittaker, we have witnessed so far 13 different distinguished incarnations of the Renegade Time Lord. Well, more than that. You also got the War Doctor. We have the initial 7, then 8. The War Doctor is 9, I guess. That makes Eccleston 10, even though they called himself the 9th. 10th was Tennant, 11th was Matt Smith, 12th was Capaldi, so that makes him the 13th. And then so 13. Then they're counting Jodie Whittaker. If we count Jodie Whittaker, you've got to count Dr. Ruth. That's 15. Look, there've been 13, not including Jodie Whittaker. Each personality is distinct with their own quirks and idiosyncrasies. They're reasonably similar. When they did the Ultimate Adventure, the stage play in the 80s, it was the first run was with John Pertwee, and the second run was with Colin Baker. They kept the same dialogue, right? The dialogue is somewhat interchangeable between the Doctors. Every few years, the protagonist of the renowned TV series reinvents itself as a new presence. The regeneration storyline in Doctor Who is a creator to employ to hire different actors to lead the show. And also a fictional biological ability exhibit by the Time Lords as a means of cheating death. Was it cheating death? Every familiar face transforms into a new one, and the character might prove to have a sticky memory now and again, but each Time Lord retains most of their experiences. Yeah, they got it like back when Brian Michael Bendis could write comics. He used to be one of the greatest comic book writers of all time. His Power series was fantastic, and also Alias, which was the Jessica Jones series, just fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. But another definition of woke is when anybody starts doing woke stuff, their quality goes through the through the floor. It's just not very good. But when he did Powers, right, he had a character in it who was like this detective who job was investigating murders which involved superpowers, and it came out very quickly that he was a former superhero who had lost his powers, right? And then about 30 issues in or something like that, you did this weird story where you went to like the dawn of time, and he had monkeys like in 2001, and you had this main character, you didn't know who it was, and then it was like a few hundred years later, 1,000 years later, and it was like a Conan thing. It was clearly the same character, and you realize that the main character, Christian Walker, is thousands of years old, right? Tens of thousands of years old, but his memory is only good for about 60 years, right? I understand. Do you remember stuff from 20 years ago so well? I don't, right? So yeah, that makes sense. The Doctor's memory may be a little bit fritzy. Interesting. Doctor Who secretly introduced the 45th Doctor in its early years. What? The 45th Doctor? Creator Stephen Moffat had intended that Dr. Moon. Well, it's not the early years. That was in 2007. That was 15 years ago. It wasn't like it wasn't like 50 years ago. The artificial intelligent moon from season 4 to be the 45th incarnation of the Time Lord. I thought he was just joking, right? I don't think it was just like taking the piss a little bit. The revelation was made in Doctor Who magazine 501, an issue where former showrunners Rusty Davis, Stephen Moffat interviewed. They were hooting at each other. It was a laugh, right? They were. Okay, that's less canon than the Mobius Doctors. By the way, apparently Philip Hinchcliffe has been on set for the centenary special. I think it was the centenary special. Somebody was worried, oh, does that mean they're going to legitimize the Mobius Doctors? Well, in their minds, they already have done. But no. No. There's no pouring perfume on that pig, baby. The Mobius Doctors weren't doctors either. There was Robert Holmes in a wig. Leave me alone. Interviewed each other. That was actually a very good issue. Here's how Doctor Who was supposed to end. Again, I take issue with the idea it's supposed to. Doctor Who screenwriter Stephen Moffat interviewed each other in June 2020 issue of Doctor Who magazine, where it was revealed the 45th incarnation had already made appearance in season 4, and no one had noticed because it wasn't really. Okay. During the season 4, led by David Tennant's incarnation of the Time Lord, Whovians were treated to a future version of Doctor Moon, played by Colin Salmon. He wasn't very doctorish either, quite frankly. While Doctor Moon was only referred to as a sentient satellite at the time, the character was initially intended to be a future Doctor. In the episode Silence in the Library, that's the one where he appeared, the 10th Doctor takes Donna on yet another adventure to a planet-sized library in the 51st century where the countless visitors disappeared without a trace. Although, did they know that showing up? They were like, oh, where is everybody? The episode features Professor Riversong, an archaeological expedition that affirms that she has met with the Doctor before, but cannot identify her. But he cannot identify her at his point in his life. During the now we've had the diary of Riversong. We know they've found ways, and they've been always had to like erase a memory or been a clone or something to have her interact with. I think all the Doctors now. Not sure if she did Doctors 1, 2, and 3. But she's been in stories with Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann, right? All playing the Doctor. Where are we up to? Whereas I don't think she'll work very well with Chris Eccles' Doctor. Where are we up to? In the episode Silence in the Library, the 10th Doctor, okay, blah, blah, blah. The episode features Professor Riversong leading an archaeological expedition. Okay, yeah, fine, we've read that. During the interview, Moffat shared a 2008 email to Davis describing the story. It showcased Riversong, who was not just the Doctor's wife. She was his widow. River had witnessed his death on the battlefield before she began confusing the younger version for her late husband by going on adventures with them. It doesn't really make any sense, does it? I mean, like, if you like knew Capaldi's Doctor and were married to him and Matt Smith's Doctor, you would know that David Tennant's Doctor comes before them, right? I don't understand. I understand the Doctor confusing his lives, but not somebody else because you look different, okay? So how's he the Doctor? What the hell? Here's the ending of Doctor Who as conceived by Stephen Moffat in 2008 email to Rusty Davis. In my head, and only in my head, it says only in capitals, this will probably never appear on a screen, will be confirmed in any way. River's not just the Doctor's wife, she's his widow. Somewhere in a terrible future on a battlefield, the 45th Doctor dies in her arms and makes her the same promise he once made him. It's not it's not over for you. You'll see me again. So River buries her husband, and off she goes to have lots of adventures with her younger selves and confuse the hell out of them. Until, of course, she ends up in the Data Core library and she realizes she'll never see him again, and she starts to wonder why anybody would call a Moon Doctor. So who made this? Who made Doctor Moon then? Moffat still thinks the ending could work in a way. I don't. Stephen Moffat confirmed that on some. I mean, this turned into the Trenzalore story, right? Some version of the idea could still work as an effective conclusion of the long-running series. it would be so the Doctor would worry that River would get lonely and alone in a library, so he'll pop his dying mind into a moon. God, look at those words. I actually typed those words. Recounted Moffat. Do I think it's a good idea? Not really. No. I mean, I guess, but like, it's yeah. No, I think there should be. The ending of Doctor Who should be kind of like the ending of the Adventures of Baron Munchausen, right? You get this huge funeral, and then it cuts to Baron Munchausen going, and that was just one of the times that I died, right? That's something like that. Hoover's love a well kept secret, and it's safe to say they were never watching Silence in the Library in the same way again. Again, it doesn't really make an impact on me. Well, it's very unlikely these revelations make it into Doctor Who canon. Oh, look, the things we've seen on screen the last year with Jodie Whittaker aren't making it into Doctor Who canon. Let alone this stuff. Doctor Who canon actually marks the show's ending. It's exciting to learn that the screenwriter's intention was while crafting the story. Dr. Moon was the final incarnation of the Time Lord who saved the universe countless times in a hit series until we see how the sci-fi story wraps up. At least we have this tidbit to keep us entertained. It doesn't entertain me in the slightest. I think it's a dumb idea. Frankly, I think this is a dumb article, but, you know, what can you do? So, speaking of dumb articles, talking about the death of Doctor Who, let's go over to your friend of mine, Screen Rant, right? Screen Rant. Oh, don't you love him? Doctor Who, 10 times the Doctor should have regenerated but didn't. Sort of, right? Sort of. This is not as bad as I thought it would be, this article, right? They actually have some reason behind it. I would argue against them. Regeneration, key element Doctor Who, in which the lead actor allows the lead actor to change. But Doctor is seriously injured without regenerating. Well, I mean, yeah, we have Capaldi's regeneration where he was killed like over and over again. Right, he kept getting zapped by the Cybermen, and I think it's more like a refusal to die, in the same way you can refuse to regenerate. Right, that's what the Master did. Master refused to regenerate in what was the one? The one with the Toclafame. So Doctor Who's 13th Doctor is fast approaching her final swan song. Is it okay? Whatever. And it's set to regenerate into the next special. Is she though? I think we're getting a fade to white. According to the Radio Times, the regeneration is going to be slightly different to anything new Doctor Who's seen before, while actually taking place outside the TARDIS. Okay, fine. The new regeneration certainly has intrigued fans. I do find it interesting that whatever the Tenant Doctor is that we have in the 60th anniversary, the TARDIS shell that he's flying around with is the same as Jodie's. Where are we up to? The new revelation it certainly intrigued fans as it added a newfound level of suspense and unpredictability. While the Doctor's life has been on the line before, previous showrunners wouldn't dare stray from the tradition because the TARDIS regeneration was beloved by fans. What? God, I can't stand people writing articles about Doctor Who when they don't know anything about Doctor Bloody Who. Right? No, there are plenty of times he's regenerated outside the TARDIS. Well, I think 2 into 3, that's a bit of a curious call. But 3 into 4, absolutely. 4 into 5. 5 and 6, outside the TARDIS. How do I know? Perry found a way to mark the spot in my mind. Right? So that's 5 to 6, 6 to 7, inside the TARDIS. 7 to 8, outside the TARDIS. 8 to 9 was 8 to War Doctor outside the TARDIS. War Doctor to 9 inside the TARDIS. 9 to 10 inside. 10 to 11 inside. 11 to 11 also inside. No, 10 to 10 also inside. 11 to 10 to 11 inside, and 11 to 12 inside. Okay, fine. Where are we up to? So the Time Lord's like, so yeah, no, it's hardly a universal. I mean, oh God, whatever. So the So any time that the Time Lord's life was on the line outside this, they presumed that it wouldn't pull through. That it would pull through in the end. However, given the long tenures of the hardcore villains that they face, many fans would agree that the new Doctors would have regenerated a lot earlier than they initially did. So let's go through the top 10. Smith and Jones. I don't know. We're talking about what's name sucked the blood out of them with the little straw. The only episode of season 3, the Jadoons transport the hospital to the moon, uniting the Doctor with new companion Martha. The Jadoon are searching for an alien who's able to disguise himself by drinking human blood. Unfortunately, this puts the Doctor on their radar as his non-terrestrial DNA. The Doctor tricks Miss Finnegan into drinking his blood. That allows the Jadoon to detect her. But that being said, every human who has had their blood drained dies up. But after this, Martha is able to revive the Doctor. He's a Time Lord! Shut up! He's been in space before! Right? Stop! Please. I mean, really? So many times that the Doctor would have been killed if he was human. But he's not human. That's dumb. That is dumb. The Doctor, even without a hint of trying to regenerate and save her as it usually would. Yeah, because he didn't need to. Evolution of the Daleks. When was he killed in Evolution of the Daleks? The first two-parter of season 13 sees the Doctor. But did he just watch the season 3? Did he just watch the season 3 box set? Is that what happened? The Doctor and Martha facing one of the best monsters from Doctor Who, the Daleks. They are trying to remove Dalekanium from the newly constructed Empire State Building. I love all that. I do love all that, right? I do like Rusty Davies' explanation that in The Chase, when they meet Peter Purvis, who's an American in that episode for some reason, and on top of the Empire State Building, they look around and go, oh, this might be useful for the future. We better remember this. The Doctor is hit by a gamma radiation strike and electrocuted. Martha, along with several other characters, are able to use the same strike to take out the Dalek pig slaves. While the pig slaves are much weaker life forms, what kills them? What kills a large group of them only causes the Doctor to pass out. Yes. That's not weird. Yes. The Time Lord doesn't even need Martha to revive him. Yeah, okay, because there's another bad example. 42. Emma sees. He's just basically watched season 3. This bloke. Okay, fine. It didn't strike me as a near regeneration moment for him. I mean, it was a good bit when his eyes are all glowy, which goes to show you. I think Chris Chibnall could probably write a script if somebody else is on top of him writing it for him. Maybe. I think that's basically how it goes. Doctor faces yet another near-death experience in season 3 when he's possessed by an alien son. In the episode, the Doctor and Martha arrive on the ship. Blah blah blah. They meet what's the name from EastEnders. Although the humans possessed by a son aren't killed, the Doctor is in visible pain when the entity's power appears to burn through his body. While Martha managed, by the best scene in that was the bit when Martha is on the shuttle or something, or the escape pod, and it floats away. That was fantastic. I love that scene. The Doctor is shown to begin regenerating when he's shot in other episodes. So hosting an alien son should. I mean, it would be a way where. It's if they write him to regenerate. That's what it is. Again, I'm not like, no, that makes no sense. Last of the Time Lords, where they suspend his regeneration and make him very old. They turn him into Dobby Doctor. Which is okay. A lot of people hated that. I didn't mind it at all. The Doctor's arch nemesis and former friend makes his long awaited return in the finale of season 3. Again, he's just watched season 3. That's basically what's going on. After stealing the TARDIS and becoming Prime Minister of Great Britain, he takes the Doctor hostage and falsely ages. Eventually, he ages the Doctor to reflect his 900 years of life becoming small and fragile. I mean, I think this is basically trying to explain how Captain Jack is is the face of both, right? It's like, oh, people look different. People get bigger and smaller when they age. Eventually, the age of the Doctor 900 years. Or the Master explains he suspended the Doctor's ability to regenerate. This isn't quite convenient and is never really explained. It doesn't have to. You just got to work out why you got a little Dobby Doctor in a cage, okay? He turned him into Dobby Doctor in a cage. Fine. Turn left. Okay, turn left. He should have regenerated, but I think he chose not to. Right, that was the point of the story. Like, he was just depressed. He was on his own. He was depressed. That's why he needed somebody else. Right. Towards the end of season 4, no, it's on the season 4. An alternate reality is built around Donna in one of the best episodes of Doctor Who. Russell D. Davies did. I'm glad you liked it. Russell, thanks as well. After time is changed, the Doctor dies. The Doctor dies as Donna isn't able to save him, and the Earth is left vulnerable to alien attack. Yeah, it's a great episode. You have Torchwood and the Bannerman gang to take on different things. I love that. Unit soldiers are overheard stating the Doctor has drowned, so he couldn't regenerate. But fans have seen him regenerate under much more circumstances than was. Yes, I took that as he chose not to regenerate. That being said, the key element of the plot that allows him for the exciting story to unfold, while this is this clever device or shows your mobile Doctor, it feels that odd that he couldn't regenerate. Again, I read it as he chose not to. Oh, wait a minute. Stolen Earth. Well, he did regenerate, sort of, into his hand. Don't regenerate into your hand. You'll go blind. Use a sock, baby. Use a sock. While the previous episode shows the Doctor dying in an alternate reality, Stolen Earth season come close after a great cliffhanger as well. After seeing Rose, maybe it was Joe, we will do the same thing. Seeing Rose again, the Doctor runs to reunite him, and they had to get this little this car, right, that could drive backwards and film him, so he could run at full pelt because he can move, right? He can totally move. The Doctor runs to reunite and suddenly is shot by the Dalek. His commander get him into the TARDIS and they begin to regenerate after a shocking cliffhanger episode. Awesome! That is the best cliffhanger. That really is, hands down, the best cliffhanger. When you're like, I'm regenerating! And then you got the to be continued going across the screen, right? That is the best cliffhanger, right? And you can't do that every day. But yeah, okay, he cheats. However, the next episode, because the Doctor channeling his regeneration entry is a seventh hand, making another version of him. Although there's a legitimate reason for him not to regenerate here, it does have huge consequences later when he definitely done. When he's definitely done. If he hadn't been for the hand finding its way into the TARDIS at the end of the previous season. Well, also his hand being cut off as well in his first episode. Fine. Tension regenerated after jumping from the Vivorci spaceship. This is fair, okay? Finally, I don't know what number we're on. Finally, that's something. If you regenerate after falling off a radio telescope, falling from orbit from a spaceship might do the same thing. Well, it's pretty darn cool. But they made him look kind of beat up. Although the Doctor regenerates after saving Wilf, he has a near-death experience in the same story. The Doctor jumps from the Vivorci spaceship. Spaceship, I think you mean to say. Was it shapeship? Okay, shapeship. Crashing through the glass of the Naismith's mansion and falling down to the floor. Despite being crushed and bruised and clearly in pain, it's not long before he's back on his feet. Maybe use some kind of like Houdini-esque, cat-like ability to fall on your feet, right? As the Doctor fell such a long way and hit the ground with such an impact, it's surprising that he comes out relatively unscathed. The full Doctor actually regenerates after a much smaller fall, which makes Ten's lack of injuries even more baffling. This was a fair point, but you can use your head cannon to get out of jail free with this. 11 should have regenerated after being shot by a Dalek again. Where was he shot by a Dalek? I don't remember that. Oh yeah, the stone Dalek wakes up and shoots him. Right. But I think was he killed too quickly to regenerate? I think that's how they explained it. Uh, During some particularly elaborate timey-wimey shenanigans in this episode, another version of the Doctor appears to drop down dead in front of the present-day Doctor and his companions. When things come full circle, the Doctor is shot by a Dalek and then goes back in time using a vortex manipulator. Well, it was a Dalek just waking up, right, out of being stoned. So, well, later it becomes clear that he's pretending to be dead. It doesn't explain why he didn't regenerate, as well as being shot in the season 4 finale. Maybe he was wearing a bit of shielding. I don't know. At the same time, as the same injury almost caused regeneration in the previous season, is quite again the Dalek was different, right? It was a stone Dalek just turned real. The episode is considered one of the best finale scores at IMDb, but it may be difficult to follow more for more casual viewers. Actually, I disagree with you. That's why they had the Fez and they had the mop, right? So you can help you jump around a bit. But yeah, okay, that's fair enough. 11 should regenerate after being smashed by zapped by the Shanseath in the Death of the Doctor season 4 episode 5. Little Sarah Jane Adventures, the one with Joe Grant in it. Look how bubbly Katie Manning looks in this picture. She always looks like she's going to explode. Like, whoa! The 11th Doctor crosses over to the Sarah Jane Adventures in an alien race named the Shanseath fakes his death. During the story, the aliens target the Doctor's former companions in an attempt to gain access to the TARDIS. When the Time Lord arrives in the story to reunite with his former companions, the Shanseath attempts to kill him for real by zapping him. He writhes around on the ground, but it is then replaced by Clyde, which causes the aliens to desist. I'm not sure how I can't remember this at all. That being said, the Doctor is zapped for an extended period of time, and while it's obviously he wouldn't regenerate in a spin-off episode, his lack of injury isn't explained. Again, maybe he's got some bio thing under his jacket. Again, don't overthink these things. These are basically meant to enjoy. I don't even think that's that big a plot hole, right? Much bigger plot hole is for example, those bits of toilet paper that attacked the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, in the Ghost Monument, right? How they know about the Timeless Child? That makes no sense, right? How did Carvanista how did anybody not find him, right? None of it makes any real sense. Well, okay, doesn't really matter, because I don't think it's canon. If you think it's canon, good for you, baby. She should have fell. A Wonderful Season 11, Episode 1. She should never have been cast, right? If they had Jodie Whittaker last for as long as she was in, as she fell at the TARDIS at the beginning of the episode One with Fellsworth, boom, she regenerates somebody else. Anybody else? I mean, anybody. Wee Jimmy Cranky, you name it. Anybody would have been better. After 12th regeneration of the 13th, the Doctor, lucky 13, blimey. The Doctor crashes and throws it, crashes, the TARDIS crashes. No, she crashes a TARDIS, let's be clear, and throws her new incarnations out the doors in absolute disgust. We understand you, TARDIS. The I just want to see what Rusty Davies is going to do with the 60s, just so I can excise this awful memory of Doctor Who out of my mind forever. Right? I want it gone from my head canon. Doctor falls down to earth. You could say since she had a mentally disabled incarnation, right? I think that seems to be the idiot incarnation. She's had an evil one with the Valiard. Doctor falls down to earth and following the episode crashes through a roof of a train. As she is newly regenerated, the Doctor is less vulnerable to injury than usual, but this is still a huge fall. The Doctor is completely fine afterwards, and it doesn't matter. It's Jodie Whittaker, Doctor Who, right? Really. More than that, why is she not acting like the Doctor at all? Why is she acting like the opposite of the Doctor? Remember, Doctor likes to help people and uplift people. This is the same doctor when she asks, "Oh, doctor, I need some help. I need you to uplift me. Can you do that? I'm your best friend, Graham. I mean, I know I'm not Yaz, so we can't scissor on the TARDIS. But I love Yaz so much. She's so freaking awesome. Can you help me, Doc?" She's like, "Fuck off. No, Icky Fop, no. Socially awkward, and it's not appropriate. You put that on me. Icky Fop, no. I mean, okay. But then again, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who just fits into the theme of current day entertainment. We have villainous women being portrayed as heroes for some unknown reason. Actually, there is a known reason. Known reason is it's being written badly, right? that's the reason. It's not really that hard to work out. Fine. We talked about the death of Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat's idea of killing Doctor Who. Okay. Bit naff. Bit naff. And there's a screen rant. Screen Rant is what Screen Rant does. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin. I was going to say, Screen Rant, your crime is being Screen Rant. That is also your punishment. Which was a stolen quote from Red Dwarf. Arnold Ribber, your crime is being Arnold Ribber. That is also your punishment. Screen Rant, your crime is being Screen Rant. That is also your punishment. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic. And have yourself a freaking awesome day.